Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books, right here in the live studios in Hythe, southeast England, Kent. We hope you're all safe and happy and well. But whoever you are, whatever you are, here we are together to read Caitanya-caritämrta, and this is the goal of life. So please let us relish hearing about the goal of life. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada, made a statement about Srimad Bhagavatam that is not to be taken literally. We need Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Caitanya-caritämrta as given to us by Srila Prabhupada. But this is just a very poetic, lovely glorification of the Caitanya-caritämrta by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. In due course, Mahapralaya, devastating floods, will inundate the entire universe. If you attempt to survive by swimming in that deluge, then do not neglect to take hold of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. Or, if you cannot hold all three, then release Bhagavad Gita. If necessary, you may also relinquish Srimad Bhagavatam, but under no circumstances release your hold on Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. For if this one book remains, then the flood can do no actual damage, because after it is subsided, the message of Shastra can be revived from Sri Caitanya-caritämrta alone, it being the essence of all Shastra. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, Lord Chaitanya has accepted the invitation by a local Brahmana to attend a meeting of the sannyasis in Varanasi. All the other sannyasis in Varanasi were Mayavadis, and Lord Chaitanya, he doesn't associate with Mayavadis, but because his devotees, Tapad Mishra and Chandrasekhar, were having to hear criticism from the Mayavadis about Lord Chaitanya felt compelled. This is his nature. He feels compelled to relieve his devotees of their anxieties. So he accepted the invitation. And he comes to the assembly of the sannyasis and he washes his feet and he sits down right where he washed his feet, which is unheard of. And then he showed them an effulgence, the Brahmana effulgence, which is more brilliant than 10,000 suns. And they stood up and they understood, just by his mercy, here's somebody special. Anyway, Prakashananda Saraswati was very gracious and he held out his hand to Lord Chaitanya to come and sit on the same level of seat that they were at. And Lord Chaitanya exhibited his infinite humility and said, I'm not fit to sit with you on your level. I'm a lower class sannyasi. And then Prakashananda Saraswati couldn't resist, quizzing Lord Chaitanya about why he didn't associate with them and why he chanted and danced with sentimentalists and all these things. And now Lord Chaitanya is explaining to him what his spiritual master explained to him. We're beginning at text 73, chapter 7, Ädi-lilä, Caitanya-caritämrta. Lord Chaitanya is speaking to Prakashananda Saraswati. His guru he's saying what his guru told him. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence. Indeed, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. Purport. In his Anubhashya, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami says that the actual effect that will be visible as soon as one achieves transcendental knowledge is that he will immediately become free from the clutches of Maya and fully engage in the service of the Lord. Unless one serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mukunda, one cannot become free from fruitive activities under the external energy. However, when one chants the holy name of the Lord offenselessly, one can realize a transcendental position that is completely aloof from the material conception of life. Rendering service to the Lord, a devotee relates to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in one of 5 relationships, namely Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya, and thus he relishes transcendental bliss in that relationship. Such a relationship certainly transcends the body and mind. When one realizes that the holy name of the Lord is identical with the Supreme Person, he becomes completely eligible to chant the holy name of the Lord. Such an ecstatic chanter and dancer must be considered to have a direct relationship with the Lord. According to the Vedic principles, there are 3 stages of spiritual advancement, namely Sambandha Gyan, Abhidheya, and Prayojana. Sambandha Gyan refers to establishing one's original relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Abhidheya refers to acting according to that constitutional relationship, and Prayojana is the ultimate goal of life, which is to develop love of Godhead, prema pumarto mahan. If one adheres to the regulative principles under the order of the spiritual master, he very easily achieves the ultimate goal of his life. A person who is addicted to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra very easily gets the opportunity to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. There is no need for such a person to understand the grammatical jugglery in which Mayavadi sannyasis generally indulge. Sri Shankaracharya also stressed this point. Nahi rakshati dukrin karane. Simply by juggling grammatical suffixes and prefixes, one cannot save himself from the clutches of death. The grammatical word jugglers cannot bewilder a devotee who engages in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Simply addressing the energy of the Supreme Lord as Hare and the Lord himself as Krishna very soon situates the Lord within the heart of the devotee. By thus addressing Radha and Krishna, one directly engages in his Lordship's service. The essence of all revealed scriptures and all knowledge is present when one addresses the Lord and his energy by the Hare Krishna mantra. For this transcendental vibration can completely liberate a conditioned soul and directly engage him in the service of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented himself as a grand fool, yet he maintained that all the words that he had heard from his spiritual master strictly followed the principles stated by Vyasadeva in Srimad Bhagavatam. Anartho pashamam sakshad bhakti yogam adhok saje. Lokasyad janato vidbangs chakre satpata sangitam. The material miseries of a living entity, which are superfluous to him, can be directly mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. But the mass of people do not know this, and therefore the learned Vyasadeva compiled this Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is in relation to the Supreme Truth. One can overcome all misconceptions and entanglement in the material world by practicing Bhakti Yoga. And therefore Vyasadeva, acting on the instruction of Sri Narada, has very kindly introduced Srimad Bhagavatam to relieve the conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya. Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master instructed him, therefore, that one must read Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and with scrutiny to gradually become attached to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I will repeat that for posterity. Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master instructed him, therefore, that one must read Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and with scrutiny to gradually become attached to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The holy name and the Lord are identical. One who is completely free from the clutches of Maya can understand this fact. This knowledge, which is achieved by the mercy of the spiritual master, places one on the supreme transcendental platform. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented himself as a fool because prior to accepting the shelter of a spiritual master, he could not understand that simply by chanting one can be relieved from all material conditions. But as soon as he became a faithful servant of his spiritual master and followed his instructions, he very easily saw the path of liberation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra must be understood to be devoid of all offenses. The 10 offenses against the holy name are as follows. 1. To blaspheme a devotee of the Lord. 2. To consider the Lord and the demigods to be on the same level, or to think that there are many gods. 3. To neglect the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To minimize the authority of scriptures, Vedas. 5. To interpret the holy name of God. 6. To commit sins on the strength of chanting. 7. To instruct the glories of the Lord's name to the unfaithful. 8. To compare the chanting of the holy name with material piety. 9. To be inattentive while chanting the holy name. And 10. To be attached to material things in spite of chanting the holy name. Now that you may notice that when we usually say our offenses, the attentiveness is 11, and there's another one. Let me see. Yeah, there's to interpret the name of God and also to. Anyway, I don't remember the exact words, but there's an extra one put in there. So no one should be confused about that. There's different lists, they come from different places, and they're essentially the same. Text 74. In this age of Kali, there is no religious principle other than the chanting of the holy name, which is the essence of all Vedic hymns. This is the purport of all scriptures. Purport. The principles of the Parampara system were strictly honored in previous ages, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapara Yuga. But in the present age, Kali Yuga, people neglect the importance of this system of Shauta Parampara, or receiving knowledge by disciplic succession. In this age, people are prepared to argue that they can understand that which is beyond their limited knowledge, and perception through so-called scientific observations and experiments, not knowing that actual truth comes down to man from authorities. This argumentative attitude is against the Vedic principles, and it is very difficult for one who adopts it to understand that the holy name of Krishna is as good as Krishna himself. Since Krishna and his holy name are identical, the holy name is eternally pure and beyond material contamination. It is the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a transcendental vibration. The holy name is completely different from material sound, as confirmed by Narottam Das Thakur. Golokyara Premadana Harinama Sankirtana. The transcendental vibration of Harinam Sankirtan is imported from the spiritual world. Thus, although materialists who are addicted to experimental knowledge and the so-called scientific method cannot place their faith in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is a fact that simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra offenselessly, one can be freed from all subtle and gross material conditions. The spiritual world is called Vaikuntha, which means without anxiety. In the material world, everything is full of anxiety, kunta, whereas in the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, everything is free from anxiety. Therefore, those who are afflicted by a combination of anxieties cannot understand the Hare Krishna mantra, which is free from all anxiety. In the present age, the vibration of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the only process that is in a transcendental position, beyond material contamination. Since the holy name can deliver a conditioned soul, it is explained here to be Sarva Mantra Sara, the essence of all Vedic hymns. A name that represents an object of this material world may be subjected to arguments and experimental knowledge, but in the absolute world, a name and its owner, the fame and the famous, are identical, and similarly, the qualities, pastimes, and everything else pertaining to the absolute are all absolute, or also absolute. Although Mayavadis profess monism, they differentiate between the holy name of the Supreme Lord and the Lord himself. For this offense of namaparad, they gradually glide down from their exalted position of Brahmagyan, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2, 32. Aruya krich trena padam tatat padantyado nadrita yushmadangrayaha. Although by severe austerities they rise to the exalted position of Brahmagyan, they nevertheless fall down due to imperfect knowledge of the absolute truth. Although they profess to understand the Vedic mantra, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Chandogya Upanishad 3.14.1, which means everything is Brahman, they are unable to understand that the holy name is also Brahman. If they regularly chant the Mahamantra, however, they can be relieved from this misconception. Unless one properly takes shelter of the holy name, he cannot be relieved from the offensive stage in chanting the holy name. Text 75. After describing the potency of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, my spiritual master taught me another verse, advising me to always keep it within my throat. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Namaiva Kevalam, Kalau Nasteva, 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 Gatiranyata. For spiritual progress in the age of Kali, there is no alternative, there is no alternative, there is no alternative to the holy name, the holy name, the holy name of the Lord. Purport. For progress in spiritual life, the Shastras recommend meditation in Satya Yuga, sacrifice for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu in Treta Yuga, and gorgeous worship of the Lord in the temple in Dwapara Yuga. But in the age of Kali, one can achieve spiritual progress only by chanting the holy name of the Lord. This is confirmed in various scriptures. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many references to this fact. In the 12th canto, 351, it is said, Kaler dosha nide rajan asti yeko mahan gunaha kirtanad eva krishnasya muktasanga padam brajet. In the age of Kali, there are many faults, for people are subjected to many miserable conditions. Yet in this age, there is one great benediction. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can be freed from all material contamination and thus be elevated to the spiritual world. The Narada Pancharatra also praises the Hare Krishna Mahamantra as follows. Trayo Vedak Shad Angani Chandrangsi Vividak Suraha Sarvam Ashtak Sharangta Stam Tachchanyam Yachchanyat Abhivanmayam Sarva Vedanta Sarartha Sangsarar Navatadanaha. The essence of all Vedic knowledge, comprehending the three kinds of Vedic activity, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and Upasana Kanda, the chandas or Vedic hymns, and the processes for satisfying the demigods, is included in the 8 syllables Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. This is the reality of all Vedanta. The chanting of the holy name is the only means to cross the ocean of nations. Similarly, the Kali Santarana Upanishad states, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. These 16 names, composed of 32 syllables, are the only means to counteract the evil effects of Kali Yuga. In all the Vedas it is seen that to cross the ocean of nations, there is no alternative to the chanting of the holy name. Similarly, Sri Madhvacharya, while commenting upon the Mundaka Upanishad, has quoted the following verse from the Narayana Samhita. Dwapariyayar Janar Vishnu Pancharatrais tu Kevalaihi Kalo tu Nama Matrena Pujyate Bhagavan Harihi. In Dwapara Yuga, one could satisfy Krishna or Vishnu only by worshipping him gorgeously according to the Pancharatriki system. But in the age of Kali, one can satisfy and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari simply by chanting the holy name. In his Bhakti Sandarbha, text 284, Srila Jiva Goswami strongly emphasizes the chanting of the holy name of the Lord as follows, and I will skip, this is long prose Sanskrit, I'll skip it. Srila Jiva Goswami states, now we're hearing what the Sanskrit says. Srila Jiva Goswami states that the substance of all the Vedic mantras is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Every mantra begins with the prefix Nama Om and eventually addresses by name the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By the supreme will of the Lord, there is a specific potency in each and every mantra chanted by great sages like Narada Muni and other rishis. Chanting the holy name of the Lord immediately renovates the transcendental relationship of a living being with the Supreme Lord. To chant the holy name of the Lord, one need not depend upon other paraphernalia, for one can immediately get all the desired results of linking with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It may therefore be questioned why there is a necessity for initiation or further spiritual activities in devotional service for one who engages in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. The answer is that although it is correct that one who fully engages in chanting the holy name need not depend upon the process of initiation, generally a devotee is addicted to many abominable material habits due to material contamination from his previous life. In order to get quick relief from all these contaminations, it is required that one engage in the worship of the Lord in the temple. The worship of the deity in the temple is essential to reduce one's restlessness due to the contaminations of conditioned life. Thus Narada, in his Pancharatriki Vidhi, and other great sages have sometimes stressed that since every conditioned soul has a bodily concept of life aimed at sense enjoyment, to restrict this sense enjoyment, the rules and regulations for worshipping the deity in the temple are essential. Srila Rupa Goswami has described that the holy name of the Lord can be chanted by liberated souls, but almost all the souls we have to initiate are conditioned. It is advised that one chant the holy name of the Lord without offenses, and according to the regulated principles, yet due to their past bad habits, they violate these rules and regulations. Thus the regulated principles for worship of the deity are also simultaneously essential. Text 77. Since I received this order from my spiritual master, I always chant the holy name, but I thought that by chanting the holy name, I had become bewildered. 78. While chanting the holy name of the Lord in pure ecstasy, I lose myself, and thus I cry, dance, I laugh, cry, dance, and sing, just like a madman. 79. Collecting my patience, therefore, I began to consider that chanting the holy name of Krishna had covered all my spiritual knowledge. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hints in this verse that to chant the holy name of Krishna, one does not need to speculate on the philosophical aspects of the science of God, for one automatically becomes ecstatic and without consideration immediately chants, dances, laughs, cries, and sings, just like a madman. Pagal, pagal. I saw that I had become mad by chanting the holy name, and I immediately submitted this at the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an ideal teacher. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as an ideal teacher, shows us how a disciple should deal with his spiritual master. Whenever there is doubt regarding any point, he should refer the matter to his spiritual master for clarification. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that while chanting and dancing, he had developed the kind of mad ecstasy that is possible only for a liberated soul. Yet even in his liberated position, he referred everything to his spiritual master whenever there were doubts. Thus, in any condition, even when liberated, we should never think ourselves independent of the spiritual master, but must refer to him as soon as there is some doubt regarding our progressive spiritual life. Text 81. My dear Lord, what kind of mantra have you given me? I have become mad simply by chanting this Maha Mantra. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays in his Shikshastaka, Yugayitam nimeshena chakshusha pravishayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam Govinda vidahena me. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. It is the aspiration of a devotee that while he chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, his eyes will fill with tears, his voice falter, and his heart throb. These are good signs in chanting the holy name of the Lord. In ecstasy, one should feel the entire world to be vacant without the presence of Govinda. This is a sign of separation from Govinda. In material life, we are all separated from Govinda, and we are absorbed in material sense gratification. Therefore, when one comes to his senses on the spiritual platform, he becomes so eager to meet Govinda that without Govinda, the entire world becomes a vacant place. Text 82. Chanting the holy name in ecstasy causes me to dance, laugh, and cry. When my spiritual master heard all this, he smiled and then began to speak. Purport. When a disciple very perfectly makes progress in spiritual life, this gladdens the spiritual master, who then also smiles in ecstasy, thinking, how successful my disciple has become. He feels so glad that he smiles as he enjoys the progress of the disciple, just as a smiling parent enjoys the activities of a child who is trying to stand up or crawl perfectly. Text 83. It is the nature of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that anyone who chants it immediately develops his loving ecstasy for Krishna. Purport. In this verse it is explained that one who chants the Hare Krishna mantra develops bhava, ecstasy, which is the point at which revelation begins. It is the preliminary stage in developing one's original love for God. Lord Krishna mentions this bhava stage in the Bhagavad Gita 10.8. Ahang sarvasya prabhavo mattak sarvang prabhartate iti mat bhava mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. A neophyte disciple begins by hearing and chanting, associating with devotees, and practicing the regulative principles, and thus he vanquishes all of his unwanted bad habits. In this way he develops attachment for Krishna and cannot forget Krishna, even for a moment. Bhava is the almost successful stage of spiritual life. A sincere student orally receives the holy name from the spiritual master, and after being initiated, he follows the regulative principles given by the spiritual master. When the holy name is properly served in this way, automatically the spiritual nature of the holy name spreads. In other words, the devotee becomes qualified in offensively chanting the holy name. When one is completely fit to chant the holy name in this way, he is eligible to make disciples all over the world, and he actually becomes Jagat Guru. Then the entire world under his influence begins to chant the holy names of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Thus all the disciples of such a spiritual master increase in attachment for Krishna, and therefore he sometimes cries, sometimes laughs, sometimes dances, and sometimes chants. These symptoms are very prominently manifest in the body of a pure devotee. Sometimes when our students of the Krishna consciousness movement chant and dance. Even in India, people are astonished to see how these foreigners have learned to chant and dance in this ecstatic fashion. As explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, actually this is not due to practice, for without extra endeavor, these symptoms become manifest in anyone who sincerely chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Many fools, not knowing the transcendental nature of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, sometimes impede our loudly chanting this mantra. Yet one who is actually advanced in the fulfillment of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra induces others to chant also. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartana. Unless one receives special power of attorney from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he cannot preach the glories of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. As devotees propagate the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the general population of the entire world gets the opportunity to understand the glories of the holy name. While chanting and dancing or hearing the holy name of the Lord, one automatically remembers the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and because there is no difference between the holy name and Krishna, the chanter is immediately linked with Krishna. Thus connected, a devotee develops his original attitude of service to the Lord. In this attitude of constantly serving Krishna, which is called bhava, he always thinks of Krishna in many different ways. One who has attained this bhava stage is no longer under the clutches of the illusory energy. When other spiritual ingredients, such as trembling, perspiration, and tears, are added to this bhava stage, the devotee gradually attains love for Krishna, love of Krishna. The holy name of Krishna is called the Maha Mantra. Other mantras mentioned in the Narada Pancharatra are known as simply mantras, but the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is called the Maha Mantra. Text 84. Religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation are known as the four goals of life. But before love of Godhead, the fifth and highest goal, these appear as insignificant as straw in the street. Purport. While chanting the holy name of the Lord, one should not desire the material advancements represented by religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and ultimately liberation from the material world. As stated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the highest perfection in life is to develop one's love for Krishna, prema pumarto mahan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu madamidam. When we compare love of Godhead with religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, we can understand that these achievements may be desirable objectives for bubukshus, or those. I'll read it again. When we compare love of Godhead with religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, we can understand that these achievements may be desirable objectives for bubukshus, or those who desire to enjoy this material world. Bubukshu is one who desires to enjoy this. Hey, bubukshu. How's it going, bubukshu? Or those who desire to enjoy this material world. And mumukshus, those who desire liberation from it. But they are very insignificant in the eyes of a pure devotee who has developed bhava, the preliminary stage of love of Godhead. Dharma, religiosity. Artha, economic development. Kama, sense gratification. And moksha, liberation, are the four principles of religion that pertain to the material world. Therefore, in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam it is declared, Dharma prochita kaitavotra. Cheating religious systems in terms of these four material principles are completely discarded from Srimad Bhagavatam, for Srimad Bhagavatam teaches only how to develop one's dormant love of God. The Bhagavad Gita is the preliminary study of Srimad Bhagavatam, and therefore it ends with the words, Sarva Dharman Parityaya, Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. To adopt this means, that's Bhagavad Gita 1866. To adopt this means, one should reject all kinds of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, and fully engage in the service of the Lord, which is transcendental to these four principles. Love of Godhead is the original function of the spirit soul, and it is eternal, and it is as eternal as the soul and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This eternity is called Sanatana. When a devotee revives his loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it should be understood that he has been successful in achieving the desired goal of his life. At that time, everything is automatically done by the mercy of the Lord of the Holy Name, and the devotee automatically advances in his spiritual progress. Text 85. For a devotee who has actually developed bhava, the pleasure derived from dharma, artha, kama, and moksha appears like a drop in the presence of the sea. '87. The conclusion of all revealed scriptures is that one should awaken his dormant love of Godhead. You are greatly fortunate to have already done so. '87. We'll stop there. Hare Krishna. Okay, it's that delightful time for reflections and exchanges between the devotees. Please feel free to express yourself. This is the safe zone. We're in the real safe zone. The silence is deafening. Of course, these are such wonderful verses. They're so self-explanatory. Everybody's probably just laughing and crying and dancing and chanting by now. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us and staying with us and relishing the unfolding of the Caitanya-caritämrta. Please stick around, because when the pastimes of the Lord start, it's going to flood the whole world with loving mercy. Hare Krishna. Sri Caitanya-caritämrta ki jai. Go Premanandi Hari Samaveda Bhakta Brinda ki jai. See you tomorrow night, same place, same station. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.